The tape information field displays the total amount and total number of items entered, as well as the deposit date and post month. The post month reflects the current AR property settings if we are tied to only one property. If we have permissions to more than one property, the post month reflects the system-wide operating month found on the admin About page. The date received field defaults to today's date. We can change the receipt date or post month within a past or future charge, but please be aware that a change within a future charge could cause a late fee for a resident or tenant. Before we enter checks into Voyager, as a best practice, use of a calculator or adding machine is recommended to add up both the total amount and the total number of items declared. This step helps ensure that we provide Voyager accurate information to perform its calculations. Use the Go button to save date changes. Notice how the Silverlight CheckScan screen updates as we enter the information. The Silverlight CheckScan screen organizes quite a bit of information for us. Now that our tape information is complete, let's place our checks into the scanner. Be sure to limit the amount of checks to 25. Group similar sized checks together, make sure they all face outwards, and then select the Scan button. The Scanning in Progress bar shows us that the scanner is initialized and our checks are being pulled through. After this is complete, we can begin our process of associating the check image to the resident or tenant. Voyager makes the process of association easier for us by color-coding the scanned checks. A yellow box indicates that the check amount is either a prepayment or that the check amount cannot pay off all unpaid charges on the resident's or tenant's ledger. A red box indicates that the check is missing required information or it has not been associated to a resident or tenant. We would review the comment field in the corresponding row for more information. A blue box, like that in line item 3, means that the transit routing number and account number for this check are associated to more than one payer. A green box means that the check pays off all charges. The Checks Already Exist tab blinking at the bottom left of the screen lets us know when one or more checks have already been scanned into Voyager. We cannot rescan a check that has already been processed, so Voyager provides us details of the existing check, such as check number, amount, payer, the date the check was scanned, and the batch number. In this example, we would need to go to batch 20 to review that item and make sure that it has been processed correctly. Occasionally, we might have a bad scan. Those failed items appear under the Failed Checks tab. We can remove failed items by selecting them and clicking the Delete button. The Application Log tab maintains a log of what the device is doing and what we are doing in CheckScan. In our example, we've started a scanner and we are getting ready to go through the association process. Now is a good time to remove our duplicate check. Let's click on the Checks Already Exist tab, select the check, click on the orange-colored trash can icon located at the lower right portion of the screen, then click on Yes. Notice that below this icon, Voyager displays a batch summary of items entered, total entered, and our batch number. If we need to find a particular check, the Search By field at the top right of our screen lets us search for checks by color code, payer, property, and multiple properties. To the left of the tape info and scanner sections is the View section. Here we can view check details, which is the page we are currently on, errors and warnings. Warnings are those items we can override and still report and post our batch. For example, when we click on the Warnings button, Voyager warns us of our blue box item, which is associated with one or more payers. Let's click on the Check Details button to return to the Check Details screen. Since errors limit the functionality to report and post our batch, let's click on the Errors button. During the first month or two of scanning, we can expect a lot of red boxes and errors as we enter most of those items for the first time and go through the process of associating the check images to the residents or tenants. Even after the association process is complete, sometimes things happen when we scan an item, and this is the place to troubleshoot issues by reviewing the Suggestions and Reasons section. Let's click on the Check Details button once again. Speaking of reporting and posting, the Actions section has two buttons. One for Delete All Checks and one for the Unposted Report, which we use to review our work after the association process is complete. We have a Save button in the Batch section so that we can save our work periodically, just like we do when working on an Excel or Word document. Next to that, we have a Lock function so we can lock down the batch and prevent modifications after it is complete. The Post button is grayed out at the moment, but after we go through our association process and fix all errors, the button becomes active and enables us to post our work. Last but not least, the Scan button initializes the scanner and lets us scan additional checks to this batch. We are now ready to move on to the process of associating the check image to a resident or tenant.